How's everybody doing today? Of course, Cindy's first. Hello, Cindy. How are you, love? We're so excited to be here. We found a bit of a new location. So we've got the ocean in behind us here and decided to use the littlest mic in the world. So we had a speaker. So can we get a thumbs up if you can hear us? Can you hear us okay? Just want to make sure it's working before we speak too far to it. But thought this would be a better sound for the recording than using the just the computer microphone. So sending everyone lots of love from here in Mexico. As you can see, we've got some big stormy clouds behind us. There was quite a whip storm this afternoon. But this morning it was beautiful and sunny. And it was here, y'all good. Awesome. Thank you, Debbie. Hello from New Zealand, Debbie. Beautiful. A beautiful morning down at the beach because the tide's been out really far first thing in the morning. And then we went into the water. Norma Jean actually got her bathing suit on and went in the water. Yeah. Did some walking in the water and came across all kinds of critters in the water. There's leopard fish here. And we saw a baby stingray. It had to be a baby one, little tiny stingray. I'm going to pass the mic to Norma.
How's it going, everyone? How you doing? Yeah, it's awesome. It's beautiful. It was. I was able to get out and actually enjoy a little bit of this ocean and a little bit of the breeze. One of those that it doesn't feel like it was going to blow you over or anything. And it's been unique in this part of the neck of the world that there are definitely much different ocean life to experience and to see as opposed to going to Egypt or what we were seeing in Greece. So it's been just as experiential as the last trip, and there's still so much more to come. So I'm just looking forward to see what else we come across. We had a chance and opportunity to experience what is it, cenote.
Yeah, cenote.
Cenote. And so that was very, very experiential. That was so unique, and it was very clear water. There was a little black fish. We was able to see bats, and I don't know if Tanya probably be able to explain more about what a cenote is than I would. So I'm just going to pass the mic back over to her.
We're going to have fun with this little mic. This little mic of mine. So a cenote is where a meteorite has come in and blown a hole through the surface of the earth, and it comes through and creates a hole, and then water fills it up. So it's water it's underground, so it's in a cave. That's why there's bats. But there's one cutout that was at this one that we could float underneath, which was really cool because as the raindrops came down, created these big bubbles on the water. And I didn't have a waterproof bag for my camera, so maybe have something we need to get so we can show these off a little bit more. But very mineralized and not affected by the sun. So it's just got this really beautiful energy to it. And so, yeah, there's little fish in there, little black fish. And then the bats, there's a whole bat cave going on too. And they did a couple circles for us, some of them, and said hello. And they've got these funny little horns on their nose. I'm going to have to find a photo of them because we couldn't get a good close-up photo, but it was pretty fascinating. It was very, very cool. And yeah, went for a swim in there and enjoyed that. The water here is just behind us. You can't see it because it's already dark, but when we're downstairs, you could see it. Yeah. Absolutely. Michelle Williams says, I feel the ocean is my home. I lose track of time when I'm under the water. Absolutely. Absolutely. I find the water can be grounding and cleansing, especially salt water. It can be grounding and cleansing at the same time. And Cindy, you've never seen the ocean. Wow, girl. Oceans are important, but mountains are too. Hola over on the Rumble, Chris. Hello, how are you? Nice to see you. Beautiful. Yeah, bats and fish. Yeah, and birds. Tons of birds. And a few mosquitoes earlier. I had to get out the essential oils to kick them out of here. So tonight is your night. What questions might you have for us? What would you like to discuss with us? So this is the Inner Collective night. This is the night that we love to have questions from you. so that we can better facilitate and answer anything. And in the meantime, we'll just keep talking. I know, Norma, do you want to share a little bit about what you've been working on?
Sure. So I'm in the process of creating a course that is basically going to give you a rundown about um, how would I say this? It's going to give you the fullness of the in-depth information to understand the beings that we are first, and how manifestation, how tangible, how things of solidity come into creation, come into be. And so I'm breaking this down to be able to provide any and everyone who chooses to give you a greater understanding of the unique and beautiful and very powerful place called Earth, Gaia, the place that we call home right now, in the tangible for this vessel, this beautiful human spaceship that we are in, to experience this wonderful world with so many beautiful intricacies that once you get a feel for the in-depth what would be the order of the in-depthness of how this has come to be and how it was created, how the beginning of all this begins with a womb. It all began with a womb, and it all began from that one instantaneous second of the mirror effect, where the being that started the creation of this world said, I want to know it myself. And this is its way of being able to do that. And so I'm in the process of working on a what's it, a PowerPoint. Yeah. And then of course, I'll be going through and doing a video in, as things go along and as we progress in creating these courses. Of course, there's going to be able to get your hands on the PDFs if you don't want to watch the videos or anything like that. It's all this is just to provide everyone with information where it brings forth knowledge that already exists in every single one of us. But it's an information where it's being brought to you from the very beginning of the order of how things are, from the seven principles, the 7 laws of the Hermetics that this world is based on. So I've been having fun with that today, and just enjoying being able to put this together for any of y'all who want to come on over and see whenever this gets finished up and implemented, to come see how this unfolds. So
See, they are biting me still.
me.
For some reason, they really there's it rained earlier, so the mosquitoes are like out in full force, which they're quite small, so they don't itch forever. But it doesn't matter. I don't want them biting me. If you've ever been to Vedette Lake during mosquito season, there's nothing like it. You're hiding inside behind the screen, so this is nothing. Yeah, Mel says she's looking forward to the new courses. Absolutely. And Cindy, oh, that's awesome. Let your daughter run in the puddles. Yeah. It feels like there's a storm almost around the world at the moment. It feels like there's this huge cleansing going on. And this is the message I've been getting around this, is that it doesn't matter where you are. If you don't have one now, you'll have one soon, because it's part of the purge per se. So it's just part of what's happening at the moment. And we had a big X marks the spot in the sky earlier, which is interesting, and a couple dragon heads. So there's some action going on out there. And yeah, and I just keep going back to awesome. So when it's sunny, we get outside and we enjoy it. And then, well, it was raining, I had a nap. Oh, well, right? Life's hard. So get up. Mornings are usually productive. So I pulled a card for everyone. This is for the collective. 10 of Cups, Celebration time. Oh yeah. So we will be celebrating. We are celebrating. So what can you celebrate now? So instead of waiting for something big to happen so you can celebrate the small wins. Celebrate the little things, because in doing that, what you do is you raise your vibration, so when you're celebrating other things that comes up. So for example, Cindy's daughter's jumping in puddles. That's a child celebration. It's a childlike wonder that we want to bring you back to remember you don't have to play adult all the time. You can have childlike wonder. We don't have to grow up and be responsible. Make sure that you put play into your life every single day. And what can you do to enjoy that play? Because if you're not going to make the time to play, nobody's going to make it for you. If you don't make the time to be quiet, nobody's going to make it for you. If you don't make the time to improve upon yourself, nobody's going to do it for you. And so are you going to sit on the sidelines, or are you going to live your life? That is what that card is saying to me right now. Boom, chicka, boom, boom.
Right. All right. She on a roll tonight. So yes, and just to emphasize this, it's got to be you. And you got to have that desire's got to be so much within you to say, I want to know. I want to know who I am, what this is for, what I've come here, and what my purpose is. I want to be able to understand this as in depth as I can, so that I know that the direction I'm going and I'm moving is in the direction that propels me in this experience, where it propels you so much quicker and so much more of a broader space and place to come from, where it's just going to be nothing but joyous. It's going to be harmonious. It's going to be synchronistic. It's going to be filled with so much illumination of the beauty that this place holds. So yeah, it's all about just going within, because in order to understand what you're seeing without, you got to know what's within. So keep going. You're doing great. Y'all are here. You keep showing up, and that tells me that you're hungry to know that more about self, just as I have, just as T has, to just know just the greatest experience of self, and being able to come out here and go to different places and see the different beauty, and to get a feel for what the region or the culture is all about. So yes, keep going. You're doing great.
Absolutely. And mastering emotions team out there, those of you that are in the mastering emotions already, how are you doing today? How's your energy today? How are you feeling? We really want to know live here so we can chat a little bit about that. And what does mastering emotions mean? Huh. Remember, we've talked about this before, and if sometimes things need to be said again, because if I say it once, you're going to hear it from me a few times. Is that mastering emotions is about realizing that emotions are energy in motion. Again, mastering emotions, energy in motion. It's moving. It's like a wave on the ocean. So it's not a fact. It's an emotion. It's just that energy shifting through. It's trying to show you something. Yeah, it's trying to show you something. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, Angela. Yeah. And some of those emotions, like everyone thinks love is an emotion. Love isn't an emotion. It's a state of being. It's when you operate so much from your heart and you realize that everything is connected and we are all together. We are all one, that you can just observe things and they don't throw you off course per se. They don't they don't. So when you're steering your ship and the rudder doesn't kick to one side and go whoop, right, and put you into a spin. So it's important to remember that you can master your emotions. You can observe your emotions just like you observe your thoughts. You want to add to that, please?
Sure. So the one thing that I learned when I began this process of self rediscovery of who I was I always knew that to a level and degree innately that I had to make time for myself, which meant I had to sit down and talk to me, because I always remember whenever I was small and growing and becoming, as I was going to school and interacting with family and others in my environments, I always knew I was always talking to myself. And it was such a clarity that I had, where how I was leading myself through this voice that just was speaking to me, that seemed to just be a part of what was um my experience being here. It wasn't until, as I started getting more up into the age of probably 10, 11, 12, that that voice started becoming less and less and less, just due to the school, the environments of the things that I was in, the watching programs and things that at the time I wasn't aware of, that was putting um, you know information into my brain that I didn't know was taking place, that was drowning out that natural connection with self. So when I began on this, I knew I needed to sit down, because sometimes there were times I was like, when I was going through this, I would be literally arguing with myself. And it would be funny because I would laugh out loud, because I'm like, I'm sitting here and I'm arguing with myself. I don't have to argue with anyone else, because I'm doing a pretty good job of that by myself, to the point to where that argument got to where it was, you need to sit down, we need to talk. And that was with self. So, as I went along, I got to know more about who I was. And in order to do that, it was understanding that these thoughts that were just there, I just had to let them go. I had to just let them just flow through and observe them. And, even though I wasn't able to hear every thought or take note of every thought, I was able to hear the thoughts at the time that really just stood out. Why are you doing this to yourself? What is it that we can do to change, our experience here, with, about the way we process, or the way that we handle our environments, or we handle situations or circumstances that may come up in our everyday life. So as I was doing this, and I did this more and more on a daily, um, just so that I just had that time, because this is where I was like, I ultimately in overtime, I got to where I liked being with myself. I got to where I was liking myself more and more over time, because then it went from arguing with myself to a conversation with self. So it's definitely one of those that it's a process. It's sitting down and understanding that we come first. We have to, in order to, you know, to get through this everyday life experiences. We gotta know self to a level and degree to know how to better handle how we come about making those choices, how we handle ourselves in situations where it seems as though there might be a little bit of chaos, but yet we can remain calm and know that if there's any important choices or decisions that need to be made, it's because we're sitting in that calmness, because we're observing what's taking place. So that way, there are times we can make those choices that others may not be able to make in crucial times. So, right, you will get to a point where you will come to love you. You will get to the point to where you will want that time with self, because you begin to create this peace within yourself, because like I've mentioned before, is it's a talk that becomes a dance, that becomes a peace, that becomes a joy, that becomes a relaxation. So that's, this is how I've gone about getting to know who I am, and reacclimating myself with that higher aspect of who I am.
Beautiful. Well said. Absolutely. I also wanted to add to that this is why whenever there's chaos going on around me, that I will stop and I will close my eyes and I'll go inward and I'll just breathe, take a few deep breaths and go, interesting, this is going on right now. Do I stay or do I go now? Because you always have that choice too, right? Should I stay in this situation or am I going to leave? Generally, that's when I'm in public and there's something going on. I'm like, yeah, it's time for me to step out of this. I don't need to be here. My energy doesn't need to be here. And so that sitting with self and arguing with self, right? I talk to myself all the time. I talk less now than I used to. I used to talk to myself a lot more. Like literally, same thing, conversations with self out loud. Yeah. 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 And Mel's been doing the work in the morning. So I just want to congratulate Mel and suggest that everyone take note of this. This is really important. This is that 5 minutes in the morning to close your eyes, put a timer on so you're not wanting to check the time constantly, because I know you will be wanting to if you don't. Set a timer for 5 minutes and promise yourself, I'm just going to close my eyes for 5 minutes and I'm going to observe my thoughts. I'm not going to attach to them. Remember, you're not the one thinking, you're not the one speaking, you are the one observing that. And so you're just going to observe those thoughts and you're going to, after 5 minutes, write down the most prominent thoughts and don't remember. Whatever you remember is fine. Don't worry about trying to remember, but just observe. And you will find that over time, and Mel's already saying that is starting to calmer. Yeah. So, yeah, these are really, really good tools. Yeah. I think it's normal for us to talk to ourselves because when you say it out loud, you hear it differently. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. Not at all. And Angela, yeah, you don't Angela's saying still struggling with my I got to fix everything mentality. Yeah, no. Yeah, and I get it too because as a mother, we tend to take that role, right? And so it's the most challenging thing to not try and fix, just to observe. Just observe it. Yeah. And watch what shifts because if you shift your energy and your perspective instead of going in and trying to fix it and coming in with this energy, this top down energy, stand back and shift your energy personally and then watch the situation shift. So I'm going to recommend that you try and do for that. And Kimbro, thank you for being on your own name tonight. That's very helpful for us. We have a hard time keeping up with you guys sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. We have a flat tire and waiting for a tow. All is happening for you. Yes. You know, you're not alone. I was reading a friend's post today and she's like, what are the chances of having 4 flat tires from nails in 1 year and all different vehicles? I'm like, oh, there's a message there somewhere. What's deflating you, honey? Yeah, we never ever know. So again, we'd love questions from you guys for tonight. We're just going to keep talking otherwise, and we're happy to do that as well, as you know. And other things that always work for me in an anxious situation or a moment when things don't feel like I can control them is just a few deep breaths and blow it out of your mouth. I remind you again that you have more hairs on the bottom of your lungs than the top. And therefore, when you breathe deeply, it relaxes the vagus nerve, which automatically shifts your energy, your nervous system. And your nervous system, remember, also the outside for grounding, fresh water. Don't go to food for settling emotions. Go for a walk instead and see if that movement can shift that energy for you and ask for it to be shifted. Well, you talk about what was going on for you this morning when we went out to the water. Your root chakra.
So yeah, I felt like there was a little bit of energy stuck in my root chakra down at the base of where the coccyx is, because that's where this is like the Jacob's ladder concept, where you have energy that's needing to move. And given us going to the cenote yesterday, there was also us going through these 2 little small quaint towns where there was a lot of energy that actually I had not felt this type of energy in quite a while. But
Georgia?
yeah, since Georgia. So we were going through these towns, and before we really got into this first real good town, I started getting sick at my stomach. I'm like, why am I getting sick at my stomach? And it was because I was picking up on the energies that was there. And then all of a sudden it was like for me, it was like I started like feeling like I was getting these little sharp, just hey, pay attention kind of energy, kind of like shoots that were going on. And I asked Tia, I said, "Do you feel that?" And she's like, "Yes." Well, about that time, I was like, "Man, I'm feeling sick in my stomach. And I don't know why." And about that time, we pulled up, and there was this big, like, old church that was sitting over here to our left. And I was like, "Oh, that's why I'm feeling this way." So, and then we went to the next one, and this time it was just a pressure upon my chest, and it's the same thing. It was a church that it was just energies that needed to be moved. It was energies that needed to be cleared and things like that. So I felt like this morning when I rose to this new day, some of that energy I just had not moved through, even though we had not sage, Palo Santo. So we did clearance. We did what we needed to keep that energy moving. So it's nothing that we hold on to, because being vessels that a lot of this energy will move through, because she's a conduit and I'm a conduit, just only in different ways. We have to make sure we keep that moving so it doesn't get stuck. But there's not always that guarantee you're going to get all of it out. So this morning I had to get out and walk and go and get in the ocean and move that energy and move my body, because I was like feeling like a little irritated. And I'm like, and I was telling Tia, is like, my body is mad. It's irritated with me. So I need to get out. I need to move before I could even go any further in, the daily, or today's, what do I call that? Where I needed to start, doing my projects and things. So I got out there and got to moving, and it was great, because I was out there. I guess we was out there about an hour, and it just felt good to move. It felt good to get out there. It felt good to have my feet on earth. It felt good to be in the water, where I had, because water's cleansing. Water will wash things away, and I got down in the water and just allowed it just to wash over my body, and that energy started moving, and I was just talking and just moving the energy, saying, this is not mine. Um, Ocean, Mother Earth, could you take this and transmute it, turn it into a positive, and just allow it to be of good. So once I was able to get out there and do that, it was very, very soothing and comforting, and a good release, where by the time I was done, I was able to get back and refocus my intention on the projects that I had at hand.
Yeah. Beautiful. Moving energy out of your body. And so I knew it wasn't quite moved out, and I was like, yeah, you need to get them. Yeah. Yeah. So, and for me, she's like, you feeling that? And I'm like, no. Yeah. And it's mostly because I move energy differently. And so this is the beauty. Each of us have our own unique system and our own setup. Hello, Ada. How are you, love? And walking has been a strong grounding tool for me. I used to have to walk to work, so I would envision each step I ground deeper into the earth. Beautiful, right? And you can do the same thing with the clearing as well. Absolutely, 100%. Hello, Luna. And Luna says, someone once told me if I was fixing something, I was not letting that person figure it out themselves. Yes. Yes. And we really, really stick strong to that free will part. So there's a lot of things I won't step into and comment on or speak to, because I'm like, they need to figure this one out. So I can give them a seed, plant that seed, plant another seed, let's say it a different way. But until they get it, there's no point. I'm not going to expel my energy trying to convince someone when I know they're not ready to hear it, right? So that's a big part of any communication, really. Are they ready to hear it? And before I talk to something else in the comments, I just wanted to say, energies in motion. You, like this chariot, can move energies, whether light or dark energies, whether positive or negative. You have the capacity to shift how you feel. Only you can. You cannot look outside of yourself. Some of the best ways for me, and I can speak to that personally, is move my body, sing a song. Gotta love it. Right? And right on your third eye. Sing a song, right? Take a bath, take a shower, water's cleansing, get in the ocean, get in a pool, get your hands in water, wash the dishes, wash your hands. Your hands are important to wash quite a bit. So, because they're chakras, right? So you want to make sure you're keeping them clean and reminding you that the left is for receiving and the right is for giving. And so when you are working even on self and you want to be activated, you can use both hands for healing 100%. But I'm very big on like putting one hand up and one hand down and send it into Mother Earth, please. Like, I am the conduit. When I'm doing healing, I am just the conduit. I am not the one doing the energy work. I'm just the conduit. And that's really what we are, is more of a conduit, which really helps to preserve my own energy and really assists with that. Absolutely. Thank you, Roberta. Thank you, ladies. With your help, I've started paying more attention of things going on around me. It's amazing what we do miss when always in a hurry. Absolutely. If you're not going to slow down, nobody's going to slow you down. Remember, the whole point of the construct of the brainwashing, of the programming of the subconscious, was to keep you so busy that you couldn't figure anything else out. Right? So only once you are older, for the most part, do people start to question life, because, well, I did everything I thought I was supposed to do. I got the job, I got the wife, I had the kids, I have the cars, I have the vacations. Fuck, I'm still not happy. Like, what the hell? Yeah, absolutely. Angela, I repeatedly feel heavy pressure behind my right ear. When I go to Reiki, I also get heavy pressure at the back of my lower jaw. These have been consistent with these sessions, but disappear once done. Interesting.
Do you
Grit your teeth.
yeah,
Lock your jaw.
do you do the tension? Because I have a tendency to do that.
Here, speak to it.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No. Chris is also asking what's Norma thinking.
It's something always going, but what it is I'm always just things going through my mind, where when we speak to things, I want to be able to bring forth the most beneficial message for each and every one of you that have questions or point things out. So I have a tendency to, because I'm still so much, this one right here stays so grounded. It's spectacular to me. For me, when I start feeling a little tense or anything like that, because I'm still mastering that balance between the embodiment of the information and knowledge that's turned into wisdom, where I still have where the body wants to resist that, because the body was so used to those times before, where I still have certain levels of habits and what would be the other word here? I mean, I guess habit would probably be about the best thing, where I have a tendency to clench my jaw. So in that clenching, I catch myself and I'm like, well, there's a little bit of tension, because sometimes, because when I was younger, I would carry my stress in my shoulder blades, in my shoulders, right across here. It's almost like having a yoke. Okay. It's like I was carrying a yoke upon myself, and I
Like
was, yeah, and I was. And when you really, really allow that to really reflect on that, you're like, wow, no wonder it seems as though I was always taking that baggage with me everywhere. It's like a yoke around your neck. And that's where we begin to understand. Well, I began to understand it's because I wasn't slowing down. I wasn't stopping. I wasn't smelling the flowers, so to speak, because I was so busy going, working, hanging out, figuring out what I was going to do next, watching, binge watching shows, things like that, where it was, who am I? So if that be the situation, as much as you can, just try and, master, just paying attention, where if you feel that clenching, tension, catch yourself. Because I still do it to this. I'm doing it right now because I'm talking about it. So there's that.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And I just want to add to that. So when you open your jaw, you have a little pocket right in front of your ear. And you can practice rubbing that 10 times one way, 10 times the other. It'll help the ear, but it'll also help with the jaw. You can also, there's Reiki will definitely help, but if you anything you keep doing regularly without you adjusting is always going to come back. This is the challenge that most people have. Oh, I felt so good afterwards, and now it goes back. Think about the chiropractor, right? You go and get adjusted, you go back again and again. Oh, you got to go weekly. Oh, I got to go twice a week. So we really want to make sure that, especially with the jaw, because that is normal. That is normal because we're not speaking our truth, right? We're holding back our tongue. Bite my teeth so I can't speak, right? And so what really helped me for that was actually every time I thought about it was taking my tongue off the roof of my mouth and just dropping my jaw, of taking a few deep breaths, because that automatically would release it. But yeah, these are all part of the process as far as I'm concerned. I'd be surprised if someone wasn't. And then that yoke around the neck, absolutely. It's like, just let it go. Chuck it in the fuck it bucket, right? Let it go. Whatever you need to let go of. Full moon's coming. It's a good time to make that list to burn. Really good time to make that list to burn. Oh, speaking of which, we have a Shala coming on Thursday. Let it burn, baby, burn. I knew what song she was thinking of. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And thank you, Mama Moose. Hola. I have for years worked on realizing that my negative thoughts hurt me, and recognizing them and mentally throwing the negative thoughts away. There's something freeing for me to look at. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Beautiful. Yeah. So just being aware is half the battle, because when you're not aware and you keep dealing with it, it's completely different. Yeah, this is a wolf moon. Yeah, this is a fuck around and find out moon. Pardon my potty mouth. I can't help it. Yeah. Norma will be howling at the moon. All right. Somebody had a question about dowsing rods or pendulums and how to best. You guys can ask any questions you want. I will do my best to answer them for you, although I'd rather you body dose for yourself, as I keep saying. So this one's copper. You can stick it in dirt, or you can leave it with your crystals. And actually, the full moon is a great time for that. If you don't have crystals, I would just stick it in Mother Earth and ask for it to be cleared. And then the next thing you want to do, pendulum or dosing rod, is you're going to want to like get your energy on it and activate it. So literally, if you want to put it in your left hand or right hand, and put your left hand up and say, just play with it in the one hand and just say, activate this, please. So if this was my pendulum, I'd just be holding it in the hand and just asking for an activation on it and talking to it, get to know it. So most pendulums have a crystal in them. Most metals, they're energy still. So once you keep talking about it, I'm like a jukebox tonight. Sure. Oops. Just plug me in and I'll play. Just getting to know them a bit. And remember, the most important thing about using your rods or using a pendulum or body dowsing is to put your consciousness into your higher heart. And you just need to tap yourself there to do that. And then take 3 or 4 deep breaths and just get really calm. And then ask your question. So you're coming at it from a really neutral spot. You're not vibing too high. You're riding right at your consciousness here, right? So that you're really focused on tonight. And that, or when you're asking the question, whether it's your body or whether it's a rod or a pendulum. If anybody else has any tips, I'd love to hear them. Those of you, I know there's some here that use the rods or use them, use a pendulum. Eckenbro's trying to figure out how to change a tire. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm going to say, as Norma always tells me, YouTube it. Put in the make of the car, how to change a spare tire. And generally everything's in the trunk.
It depends on the model. So
right?
Your tire is going to be there, but that doesn't mean that the jack and stuff may be
right
up underneath the seat or something. So yeah, just go to your owner's manual and it'll tell you where everything's at.
Absolutely. Hello, Tango. How are you? Yes, over on Vancouver Island. Yeah, and Eckenbro, I can tell you right now that you should have a booklet. Maybe you don't. That was also helpful for me when I arrived at Vedette Lake once. and heard a sound and was like, oh, they're watering something. And I'm looking around for the watering hose because I could hear us. And I thought, oh, something's getting watered. And it was a flat tire. And there was a part missing for my jack. I was pissed because it did a little bit of damage on my car. But my good friend at Vedette Lake decided that it's a good time for Tanya to figure out how to change her own tire. Because what if she was by herself? And so then I had to figure it out. So it's actually really empowering that once you figure it out and you get it done, only to drive all the way into town and them tell me, no, we don't have any tires for this vehicle. And because one's done, you got to replace all 4. We'll have to order those in, come back on Monday. So it was a very expensive lesson. But yeah, right? Everything helps. Ada says righty tighty, lefty loosey. There's a good tip for you when changing the tire. And and you can stomp on your foot on the what do you call that thing? It's not the jack, it's the
crowbar or the
no, it's not a crowbar. What's it called?
tire
Tire iron.
Yeah. Tire lock.
Yeah. Yeah. And just keep saying that. It's happening for me. It's happening for me. Hey, you never know. Maybe somebody will come along and give you a hand. You never know. Yeah. I always try and absolutely. You'll figure it out. All right. We're sending lots of love your way right now. So any other questions for us? We've got a few minutes left for tonight. And I can say that we've really enjoyed the food here. I made a salad last night with, I call it my chop salad. It's whatever's in the fridge. Chop it up fine. I had fresh jicama. So that's a root. This one was round. Yeah, so good. They were quite small. And then we put in some jalapeno peppers because, can't do life without those. Some corn. We didn't put in beans, but we had cucumber, tomatoes, onions, cilantro, some Mexican kind of spicing stuff that my daughter picked out. And then we also put some hot sauce on there because, and lime, always lime. So minus the snails. There was no snails like when we got the ceviche the other day. No, we had no fish in this one. And then we had some scallops that I'd picked up. So those were really tasty. And your first time.
My
Do
first
share.
time. Yes, it was my
Do
first time
share.
having scallops. There's a lot of first times here. So, just like, Egypt and Greece, being able to go to an area or a region or a culture where you've never experienced the what would the cuisine or the, how they continue to fix their food in ways that is of the culture that they never lose that. So it's definitely a lot different from America, where you go inside and there's like, this is a authentic Mexican restaurant. No. Coming here to be able to experience Mexico and to be able to experience the way that they fix the foods here is totally different. And being able to experience them making their tortillas fresh and hot. It's not made, all of them are not made from the same level of the corn tortilla or just the tortilla themselves. There's something about them being able to put it out and make it by hand that is so totally different. So yes, it's definitely one of those that I'm enjoying, just in experiencing so many different foods. Greece was wonderful. Egypt was a good experience as well. And I love Mexican food anyways, so there's that. But yeah, it's just for me, there's just so many firsts, and there's so many more firsts that's going to be coming. So there's that.
Yum yum. Tango says yum yum. Awesome. I have another idea about the lockjaw thing. Oh, that's what happens when I walk away and go pee. It's like, oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. Thank you. It can also help to loosen your lymph nodes, right? And so there's something that I do every day, and I'll share a little bit with you. So you have this bone here, and so you want to take your fingers on that bone 10 times and rub it. And then the other side 10 times and rub it. And then you want to go here like this 10 times and rub it. And then you want to go to your eyes and go all the way around the eye socket and just lightly press, not too hard, on the bridge of your nose. Tap your entire head. So you're activating at the same time, right? Tap your entire head. You're waking your body up. I do it every morning. And then you can come under your chin. And I'll do a video on this so you can follow along. I'll get that out probably not tomorrow, Thursday or Friday, by Friday. And then rub under here. You've got tons there. And then on the neck. And I just tilt back a little bit and rub there 10 times each direction. And then I go ahead and go under the armpits. And I won't do that, but you slap your armpits 10 times and then you rub. And then you go inside your crotch and you slap 10 times and then you rub. And then behind your knees, slap 10 times and then rub 10 times up and down. So that really helps to activate your lymph, which will help to drain tension out of the body. So if you've never done that, you may find that really relieving. Absolutely. It would be a great thing to do. Absolutely. I'm not sure what this post is. Can you explain what the post is, Mirmi, before I delete it? So just so we know. Okay, love. Thank you. Appreciate it. And so draining your lymph nodes will really help not only activate your body in the morning, but also to reduce that tension in the jaw. Yeah, absolutely. And I've learned a lot from just watching different videos that pop up in my feed, a lot of TCM people, because I really want to know about that. I really want to like to learn about that. That's something huge for me to understand, because when we're realizing our meridians and we can affect them, not unlike doing in between the thumb and the forefinger, right? You guys know about that one, in between your fingers. And I'm going to let you hold this so I can show. So this one is a huge pressure release, right? As is this one right on your wrist, where your wrist bends to press really hard there. It'll help to release. And then you can also move energy off your shoulder, right? So quite often I'll just tap here. All right, release that, please. And then I'll rub it down my arm and release it. So you can control your energy and move your energy yourself. You can also, as May does for us, she rubs out each finger, right? And on the sides. So it's opening up your meridians.
Yeah, because there's
Go ahead.
when you understand the hand on right and left is electrical. Okay. So this is all electrical, where the top and the bottom is neutral. So that's the reason why whenever May does, what's it called again?
Acupressure.
Thank you. Acupressure. She's pulling here because what she's doing is she's moving that electrical impulse of the hands. That's the reason why you're able to move energy with hands, is because they are electrical. And the way it moves is between the fingers. So it's like when you have the neutrality on the top and the bottom, that's the reason why it's like whenever, I don't remember what show it was, or if it was a cartoon or something like that. But when you see them doing this and they're doing it like this, it's because it's like you're shooting electricity, or when they're moving energy, because the electricity, because you're doing two, can affect a magnetic field.
Beautiful. Good addition. Absolutely. So again, we want to teach you guys how to do all this for yourselves. So that's why she consumes one type of information and I consume another, so to speak, because it's what floats our boat. Literally. The body's afloat. Thanks, Michelle. Michelle says she lives in Galveston, USA, where I live is highly population of Mexican immigrants. We have authentic Mexican food here in the US. One restaurant in particular is phenomenal. Yeah, when it's fresh, you know it's good. You know it's good. Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's we're quite excited. So this area that we're in is super quiet, to the point where my daughter said to me, she goes, I know, Mom, I know you like it like this, but I need a little bit more. Like I'd like to go to the store and know that I'm gonna like the store's like a shoebox. There's not much in it. We're lucky if we find what we need. So as we leave from this space and enter into new spaces, I promised her that I'd keep that in mind and try and find more for her to do. So making sure that everyone involved is getting what they need. And we have a guest coming in this week, and so she'll be on the show at some point. Karina, who lives in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and has been assisting building retreat. So she's part-time on my team just for coming in with information and helping with some marketing ideas and layouts and stuff, which is great. And then May, who does all my social media for Powell Painting and for Adventures for Connection for us, and does a wonderful job, is coming down. And she's been to Vedette and really supportive and helpful, and has this way of capturing things that's just beautiful. So I'm very excited to have her on as well and introduce her. She doesn't know it yet, but that'll be a surprise for her because that's what I do. Yeah. So we'll get her sharing some of her experiences hanging out with us, and definitely hanging out at Vedette Lake, which we're just planning that retreat for April. And then we've also got retreats coming up now that I'm on the roll with that. One for Sedona, another one for Shasta. Those are posted on the website now. And there is a calendar at adventuresforconnection.com that has everything on it. So you can literally click on the calendar and find the live shows, the events, the special shows like Ashala coming on Thursday. And then on February 4th, we have Thomas Sawyer coming back. We've brought him back in. And we'll have Chef Agatha at some point, because her knowledge of the plant-based foods and the whys of it are huge. And you know that if you shift your diet, you will shift your entire body. Yes, Tango, we're definitely visiting the ruins. In fact, I'm ordering a little speaker that has 2 mics that can go onto my iPhone, and May's going to bring that down for us. Most of the sites we'll be visiting will be starting in early February. So right now, this is kind of like a 2-week decompression work and get stuff done and enjoy nature just for us. And we'll post those pictures of the cenote, but it was really hard to get good pictures. So I'll get May to bring down, we'll take a headlamp next time, right? And get a plastic bag, something to put the phone in so that one can get, and you have to swim quite far to actually enjoy it. And it would be good to be able to see. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah. When I was a child, I used to love going to Mexico to visit my grandma because rooster crowing sounds so magical. Yeah, there's not a ton of roosters here, which is interesting. There's a lot of other birds, absolutely. A lot of a few dogs, all friendly. We've run into some great friendly dogs. I've done some clearing on them. One of them in particular with his hip. And there's definitely a few cats. Jade's a little disappointed because the cats aren't super friendly. And definitely some fish. So we haven't seen a ton of wildlife. And then as we shift again, flamingos. The flamingos were incredible because I've never seen live flamingos. I was like, oh, they're so cool. Used to seeing them like a lawn ornament. Who came up with that anyway? Who came up with the idea that having a pink flamingo lawn ornament was a good idea? Like, I get the gnomes. That makes sense to me to have gnomes in the garden. I get that. Fairy stuff. I get that. But a flamingo? Like, what is the point of plugging a flamingo into your front yard? If anybody has the answer, I really want to know. You want to add anything else before we wrap up?
You know, at this point, it's do you? You know, you always make time for yourself. Even if it's 5 minutes, do something that makes you happy. Do something that brings joy to yourself. And like I've said, and always speak to this, you being with you is most vitally important, for it's you that has to deal with you. Always. Whether somebody else is willing to do that or not, that's on them, and that's their choice. But when you got to go to bed with you, when you got to be with you all the time, it's always best to find those moments and those times to give to yourself, so that way you're able to have conversation with self. For when you understand how to speak to self first, you'll always know how to speak to another.
Beautiful. Beautifully said. Thank you. Yeah, that was great. Tango said it's related to pink insulation. Thank you for the laugh. Always good. I just wanted to tap back into the ancient sites thing. So, not unlike when I went to Egypt in March and I just followed the rods and had no idea what I was supposed to do, where I was supposed to go, in what order. And we will do the same here. And the reason why is many timelines have been spent here, especially for me and for Norma Jean. She's more connected to Greece. Yeah. Yeah. She's more excited to get back to Greece. Yeah. And this t-shirt's from Greece. Yeah. And I said, yeah, it's imprinted on you. But when I was in Egypt, I didn't know a lot of things until afterwards. And then it was like all these messages came in about what I'd done when I was there and shifting the energy. And so and speaking with David Pills about it was like, yeah, well, you're the next cog on the wheel. So your energy is supposed to go there. And we will be doing a bit of almost sacred circle, right? Like a spiral. And we will be doing it in that moment or in that direction. And we'll be starting on the other side of Merida and then coming down and around and in. And so it's quite a beautiful setup the way it is. And I don't know what'll happen when we go there. She's going to see stuff. And so that's why we want to get these little mics so that we can each have a mic on, set it up with the phone and actually do recordings and share our experiences while it's live and see. And then we'll do a report afterwards and what else comes in. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Debbie. Norma, brilliant. Yeah. She can't see. She doesn't have her glasses on. So I got a commentary for her. So yeah. And remember, your energy has a frequency and imprint. And so by me going around, and we're going to check out different retreat spaces while here and communicate with other people and just really connect. There's this beautiful little eco spot that we're going to book 3 nights at. I was like, oh, we need to go there. 1, they had roosters. 2, they have a cat. Jade will love that. They have cacao from the seed until making it, as well as tortilla making. And they had a few other things, some stuff that I was like, yeah, I don't need someone to walk me in the woods. That's okay. I can do that. There's jungle I want to go to for sure and check that out. I'd be curious if we can see a jaguar, because I did have a dream about a jaguar. And so when I dream about something, it's usually for a reason. And so, yeah, and just tapping into the land here and the people here. And so this is just right now is getting us really grounded in, so to speak, in this environment after being in Vancouver for a little bit and just really falling in love with us again, getting back into our regulation of temperature, sun gazing, ocean, land, like bare feet. I just operate better if I can be in bare feet most of the time. I don't know about you. You getting used to it?
I definitely, it was one of those that I'm still toughening my feet back up. So there's that.
Yeah, I've always run around in the summer in bare feet. So yeah. You do seem less anxious. Absolutely. Well done. You guys are all doing great in the Mastering Emotions group. You're all doing really, really good. So don't forget that. Give yourself a pat on the back. Look how far you've come. Just remember that change takes time. And when you it is 3 steps forward and 1 step back, or 2 steps back and then forward again, because you come back to learn something else from that perspective. And so I never beat myself up. It's always like, oh, and it happens still. I'm not perfect. Absolutely not. I mean, I can say some things where, yeah, fuck off. I can see your face in here.
It always was like, I found that it was so much simpler when I just laughed at myself.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, look what I did again. Right? Yeah, absolutely. And as all these planets line up, remember that we will be celebrating. Things are shifting. Things are changing. It's getting easier, and you will get better and better. Yeah. You should be able to search for it in the group. Yeah, it's literally Mastering Emotions. I did send you in there. You should have an invite. So have a look for it. And if you can't find it, just direct message me and I'll help you out. Okay, love? Yeah. So until next time, which is Thursday, we're back on. So, Yeah, with Ashala, which I'm so excited to have her for the full moon. So get ready for that. Get ready with a pen and paper. I really want you to guys put some intention. And then afterwards or during, you can step outside depending on your setup, but an ability to burn it. So either a metal bowl inside and a candle that you can put in there and do it in a safe manner, please. But definitely to take that list and burn it and send it out to the ether. And this no longer serves me. I'm going to let it go. And it's beautiful to let things go because then you can get ready for the new coming in on the new moon. All right. And so I choose to follow the moon cycle because it's more accurate than anything else I see. Yeah. So sending lots of love, everyone. Have a beautiful night. We love you very much.